Hello, and welcome to Bendy Presents, the movie test of time, a podcast about revisiting our youth through the only medium that matters, the movies. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I am one of your timely, boring hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other timely and boring host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
I love I was like, how I don't know. How is Andy gonna go into this week?
I was like,
Is he gonna
I don't want
feel
to show my
is he gonna
hand too
feel
early.
embarrassed? Is he gonna be Mike was like, have fun talking about this movie? I was like, thanks, babe.
I I think that there are definitely things to talk about, but it's kind of
There
like
are.
it is probably delivering on the thesis of this podcast better than we have before, which is revisiting things. Because, like, okay, so just to set it up
Yes,
a little
yes.
bit, that this is a movie that Beth had never seen before, hadn't even heard of, but was a movie that was quite
Mm-mm.
meaningful to me as a kid.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna get into it. We'll get into it later on, but
We will.
um, it's
We will.
it was it was an interesting watch. Well, maybe that's the wrong word.
Yeah.
It was a watch,
Yeah.
let's say.
I
Uh,
needed alcohol to watch it.
yeah, that's
Okay.
smart.
Anyways, yeah, yeah. So the crack. So it's American Thanksgiving week
Hmm.
here, which means Thursday is Thanksgiving. If you listen regularly, then you will know that we were having an Irish feast,
Oh yeah.
um, involving, this is my favorite thing I think I've learned I don't know, I learn new things a lot, but probably the last month,
Hmm.
because I was like, Andy, we're having corned beef for Thanksgiving dinner. And you were like, I've literally never eaten corned beef in my life. And I'm like, but it's an Irish feast. And you were like, yeah, no. So then Mike was like, tell Andy that like next time he comes over, I'll teach him how to make authentic Irish cuisine. To which Andy said, touche, I shall teach Mike how to make a cheeseburger. And he was like, that's fucking French. So, anyways.
It's fair.
Uh, Okay, so and then so Thanksgiving. So I don't. We've talked about this before.
Hmm.
But after the day after Thanksgiving, we have Black Friday, which I think has permeated the entire planet, including like that island somewhere in the ocean where like there's that like native population that have never been, you know, no access to other humans, no
Oh
access
yeah.
to technology, but I'm pretty sure that they still have Black Friday also.
Yeah.
So my mom was supposed to fly in tomorrow,
Hmm.
and she just got back from a trip down in South America. She was like, she's so cool. She was like, here's pictures of Easter Island. And
Wow.
here's like pictures of like where Ernest Shackleton, I think it's
Okay.
Ernest
Yeah, it is.
Shackleton,
Yeah, it is.
like landed was like, all my men need help. And there's like a bar named after him because what else do you do at the
Yeah.
bottom of the earth? Anyways, so she texted yesterday and was like, just like I got a cold on the way there, and then like I got a cold on the way home. And I was like, I did the thing that everyone does now, and I was like, did you take a COVID test? And she was
Mm.
like, I have one in my bag and I'll take it this morning. And then like 3 hours later, she was like, I have COVID. She's like, she was crying on the phone and like the kids are so
Mm.
upset. So yeah, so she's got COVID. So please think of my mom and wish her a healthy, speedy recovery.
Yeah.
I have a problem with Thanksgiving in that nothing ever goes the way it's supposed to go. Like I
Hmm.
can't tell you, like during COVID, that was a whole thing. Someone got exposed. Mike ended up having to sleep on a boat for 9 days in
Wow.
24-degree weather,
Oh.
right? Yeah, and then like last year, I had a friend fly in, and she brought COVID with her,
Oh
so we
yeah.
all got COVID. And then this Thanksgiving, my mom has COVID, so it's just interesting. Uh,
It's a good job.
yes,
It's a good job that
yep,
COVID's like a solved problem and it's cured and
yeah.
it's no big deal anymore, right?
Doesn't exist, right?
Wink. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, also, I've been working on my sleep,
Hmm.
which
Oh
is
yes, of
so
course.
interesting to
Hmm.
everyone. I know you've been
I
waiting all week for an update.
think it is interesting, but please go on.
Okay, so I did my first week of sleep training.
Uh-huh.
And I stop me. Did I tell you like the time frame and like
Yes.
okay. So it's so fucking hard, Andy.
Mm,
It's like one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I had like two like, babies. I did the newborn thing. And you don't sleep for like 4 months. But that's cute and adorable,
yeah.
right? I'm not. I'm like a giant 46-year-old baby. So it's it actually works because we looked at the numbers and you can't lie with, like math and percentages don't lie, right?
Yeah.
So my score went from like 52 or 54% like sleeping to like 77%.
Uh-huh.
So I was sleeping less, but like
Better quality.
better quality. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And then I did a sleep apnea test where they stuck this thing on my chin for 2 nights at home. They do these home tests now. And I was like, there's no way I have sleep apnea. There's no way.
Yeah. Bob?
So I know myself so well that she was like, well, you have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
So I have to be that person with a CPAP machine on my
Oh,
face
wow.
for the rest of my life.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That was very
So
surprising to
like
me.
when Mike and I come over in the summer, you're gonna have to try it.
Okay. It's like Darth Vader. Wow, so like sleep apnea, is that the only real solution for sleep apnea then? Or solution, but I guess treatment for sleep apnea?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta like strap yourself in, melt off your legs, lose an arm,
Oh my
put a
God.
helmet on, and yeah, I
Okay,
become,
interesting.
yeah, Darth Martin here.
Well, like that is, embrace your destiny as Darth
Mhm,
Martin.
mhm, mhm.
Like that's, kind of rad, but also like intense. I am surprised at that, but like, okay. If it helps you sleep and if it's what you need, absolutely. But yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. So it's not like it's because I don't really think I snore.
Yeah,
But Mike wears earplugs and so do I, so I don't really know. And like some occasionally the kids are like, "You snored last night," but like, and I was a snorer as a kid,
yeah.
but like I think I grew out of it. But what it means is basically you hold your breath at night,
Yes. Okay.
and
That's
so I'm not
dangerous.
getting, yeah, right. I'm not getting oxygen to my brain while I'm sleeping or
Yeah.
something. So, anyways, so I'm pausing sleep training because now I have to figure out the other thing, and I'm gonna get back on the horse in January.
Okay.
This is a long story. I don't know, but it's like it's very like she's also a therapist. This sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place.
Uh-huh.
The sleep training lady is also like a therapist. So we're going deep into my like psyche and soul and history about why I
Uh-huh.
can't sleep. And I'm like yesterday I'm just like, okay, well like let's pick it back up in January and then I walk out and I've been crying for like an hour.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that
yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
That's rough. It's well, what a freaking journey, and honestly, not
Mhm.
what I was expecting
Mm-mm.
the outcome to be, you know. And I'm also kind of glad that whenever you said earlier that air wasn't going to your brain, I was going to say this explains a lot, and I didn't. I didn't say that, so I get credit for
All
not
right.
saying that, right?
Oh, good. Yeah, I wouldn't. You didn't. I'm so
I
proud
didn't,
of
so
you.
therefore I'm not an asshole, right?
No, no,
In
totally.
a technicality. No, I am really glad that you've got a path to like work on this, but like this is again, I knew this was happening and I was interested to see what the results were going to be. But like this is the last thing I was expecting, truly, and I'm
Me
sure the
too.
same for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like I
Well,
know people who have sleep apnea, and I'm like, you can just look at them and you know, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
plus I'm
Yeah.
a yogi and I like do pranayama and like,
Right, exactly.
I journal.
Don't deserve to have sleep apnea. Wow. Okay.
Well, yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
keep
So
us.
that's a lot. Sorry. What's the
There's a
crack
lot.
with
I
you?
love it. Well, I love it. I love the evolution though. Um,
Mhm.
so, not tons. I do have a few interesting things. It's basically I had some friends come to visit me last weekend, which was nice. We played some board games.
I love it when you're like, I have friends.
Yes, I know,
I'm
right?
like, yay.
They came to stay over, so there was a couple, and they were like, and I was like, they were coming down to Belfast anyway, and they were like, do you want to hang out? And I was like, sure, absolutely. And ended up offering them, somewhere to stay. But like, because the only double bed that's free in my house is my bed, I gave them my bed and I slept in the spare room. But it was nice, and I was happy to be able to like have them there and play some board games, go for some dog walks and stuff. So it was lovely.
So
Um,
sorry to interrupt, your spare
mhm.
room, did you snuggle with Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Of course I did.
So you never gave that blanket back to your mom?
No, 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 no. It's technically
Yeah.
it was bought for me. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say as a child, but the way like with small soldiers, 19 years old, it was actually
Yeah.
around the same sort of time. It was like I remember figuring out when that was for sale. My mom must have bought it for me in like when I was 18 or 19. So
Yeah.
what
I
can you
think
do?
it's cool. I think
It
it's
is. It
cool.
rocks. It absolutely
It is.
rocks.
Yeah. Yep.
Um. So yes, that was great. It was lovely. I really had missed. It was a nice reminder. It's been quite a while since I've done any sort of proper board game and like just had a night of it, and
Totally.
I'm kind of like I've missed it. So it was lovely to get back to it. I also, the other thing that I did last week, and I don't think I told you this. I might have, but I did a speed awareness course last week.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So
Speed
basically,
awareness?
how it works. Basically, I was caught speeding about 3 or 4 months ago, right?
Okay. Did you
Right?
get in
Not
trouble?
severely. No, you see, this is the thing. If it is a minor speed infraction, so basically, okay, I'll take it a few steps back. Basically, how it works in the UK is that you can get points on your license. If you get up 12 points on your license gets taken away from you. And
Okay.
various things get you a certain amount of points. So a minor speed sort of infraction means either you get 3 points or you have the opportunity to do a speed awareness course and you get no points.
Got it. Do they
So
show up with like a drunk driver like car and you have to like look at that? No. Okay. Tell me what to.
maybe back in the day. Now it's all done
Okay.
online. There's like videos
Okay.
and stuff like that, and there's videos
Okay.
on like stopping distances, and like there's also like quizzes, basically like what is the speed limit in this road, what kind of road is this, and so on and so forth, and also updating you a little bit on some of the changes in like we've got a thing called the highway code. I think you guys have something similar. Maybe not.
No, what
Oh,
is
really? So
that?
we have like a
Yeah.
whole, whenever you're learning to drive, there's something called the highway code, which is just rules of the road. And like you use that to do your there's like a written portion of the test and a practical portion of the test. And so all of the a lot of what is in the written test is kind of based on the highway code. So like, but
Okay.
it's a code that's constantly updated. So like he kind of went through some stuff that we might have missed and things like that and told us to check things out. But it was actually one of these things I was going into, with my arms crossed, angry that I have to do this, even though it's my fault, right? And actually came away learning some new interesting stuff and finding the course actually to be quite good. So it was I was happy to have done it, and I'm also happy that it is over and done with. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we get that. We definitely don't. I'm in California now, so you never get pulled over for speeding
Oh,
ever.
really?
Yeah, it's like never, never.
Really?
Exhaust issues, right? Like there's a plume of,
Yeah.
smoke coming out, then they get super pissed off. Or like you committed road rage and, or you hit someone. But other than that, no, no. And
Can you?
like I think I've told you this, and you've driven here, so like
Yeah.
motorcycles are allowed to drive in between the
Yeah,
lanes.
that's insane. It's happened to
It
me when I've been
is.
driving over there, and it's so
Yes.
scary.
And like you can turn right even if there's no right turn lane. So everyone's
Yes,
just kind of
yes.
like you can literally like hit someone by turning right and you know, they'll be like, "Oh, one of these
Is
again."
is it like? I mean, I'm obviously there are circumstances under which you could lose your license in the US,
Yes.
but I don't
Usually
believe.
it's like a Dewey. You get
Okay, okay,
drunk under the influence or driving under the influence.
yes, because we have those and I think, as I say, I think that might be a full 12 points if you get that. I can't remember, but like
Mhm.
basically because we have this point system, so basically like extreme. speed offenses are like 6 or 9 points, I think. So it's different things are worth different sort of points, you know. I
It's
like
interesting. We don't have like it would make more sense, I think, and it would be a lot easier to like manage yourself if you knew how many points you had.
I
Like
think
you would probably make different choices
this
in
is it.
America.
And it's
Yeah.
also like it has a an actual impact. Like you pay more money for insurance, you know what I mean, and things like that.
Yeah.
So it does have a knock-on effect. It can also like
Yeah.
affect depending on what job you have, especially if it's a job that involves driving. You will oftentimes, if you have more than 6 points, 6 or more points on your license, you can't do
Mhm.
that job anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah.
It's so this is so interesting. I'm sorry.
Nope,
This
please.
is what we're talking about, guys. It's going to
Yeah.
be cars and insurance
Car
and
talk.
driving safely car talk. So, uh yeah, I forget what I was going to say. It doesn't matter. But like it's just here you have to really buck up to
Yes.
unless you live in a small town. But I live in a small town and like I literally like never,
Yeah.
yeah, not an issue.
I think, yeah.
But you
Yeah.
do like if you get a ticket, if you get in a car accident, like that totally impacts your insurance, which is
Yeah.
already astronomical in terms of cost. And like they'll say like th for like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
Like so you like pay that for, you know,
It's no, it's
into
interesting.
perpetuity. Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so there you go. So yeah, so that was me. So criminal that criminal life that I'm leading.
yeah.
Um because for
It's
so
fun.
long I had never got a ticket, like until my jeez, late 30s, like and I hadn't got a single one, and then I ended up with a few, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, no, I like totaled my car. I think it was 19. I I got probably like 4 or 5 speeding tickets. And like eventually they say it, they fall off your record, but I
Yeah,
checked my record and no.
still there.
Yeah.
All right. So Beth, I mean, because like I
Yes.
don't want to like I feel like I did check if there's any what's occurring because I feel like we
There
have a rich text that we need to explore here. So
I agree. I agree. So yes, someone's making fun of your pronunciation of psychiatric nurse.
well, well, well.
Then
Uh-huh.
that Norn, pardon me everyone, that Norn Irish lad barely got out any of the phrase psychiatric nurse. That's my poor attempt at an accent.
Okay. That's gonna get you in even more trouble than my
I know.
pronunciation.
It's terrible. It's terrible. So please help me
Uh-huh.
because I know you will anyway. Um, so someone out, oh yeah, so on someone watched our episode on the movie The Game,
Yeah.
and this person said like Andy, I had not seen it since it was first released, but I did note it poses the meta question, what if Gordon Gekko could be saved?
Ooh, I like that. That's an interesting one.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Because I feel like Gordon Gekko in Wall Street is pretty irredeemable. You know, what I mean, like he thinks that what he's doing is right, so he doesn't think that there's any sort of redemption required, I guess, as well, you know. But I suppose the same could be true of his character in the game as well.
I think
Um,
it's like, what if they took his money and his credit cards away, right?
yeah, this is true. This is
Then
true.
that
What
will
what would he be? Yeah.
he'd be the guy in what was it, Falling Down?
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you
he
seen that
would. Oh,
one?
I love that movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Also starring Michael Douglas.
Yeah, it's one I'm sure we'll explore at some time in the point in the
Yeah.
future. Like
Yeah.
it was such an interesting compliment to Wall Street, like watching the game so quickly afterwards. It really was, and it kind of like spoke a lot of the times that they were filmed as well, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, both
And how
interesting
bad
movies.
the art was.
Hey, that was great art. Um, well,
Uh,
so
that's what I
um,
got there.
so shall we move on to our
Yes.
topic for the week?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Which is Santa Claus the movie.
Andy was like, let's watch this. And I was like,
What?
I've never heard of this movie ever.
And like as I was talking about a little bit at the start of the episode, it's a movie that I think I had on VHS. I seem to recall it was like a fancy VHS. Oh, it's a fancy VHS. It was like a colored box. It was either like bright red or something like that. And I think that was like, the novelty of that. And I ended up watching it quite a lot. But I literally haven't seen it in, I mean, 30, 35 years, you know. And
I had a VHS that had it was like the original King Kong, but they re-released it for like I don't know that I don't want to I don't know how long the movie's been around, but it was
yeah,
like the 50th anniversary or whatever, and it had a little button you would push, and then King Kong would be like, "Rawr!"
I
And I
love that
loved
shit.
it. It was so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I love
S-
novelty DVD and
Totally. Totally.
VHS cases. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so Andy had this great idea because we're focusing on Christmas movies. And
Uh-huh.
granted, Gremlins was okay, I'm going totally off topic. So we had talked a little bit about like whether or not we should do Die Hard. And I guess
Uh-huh.
Macaulay Culkin is doing a speaking tour right now.
Uh-huh.
He's actually coming to San Diego, and part of me is like, I don't think I'll be here, but um he's it's kind of like he's embracing his home aloneness,
Yeah.
and it's like The Room. He's in the movie theater watching the movie with you, and then he'll like answer questions.
Fascinating.
I know. And I was like I don't know if you follow him on Instagram or whatever, but
No.
he's so fucking funny.
I've heard that. Like he seems to be having this like resurgence over the past few, and he's even cropping up in movies and TV shows and stuff like that a
Yep.
little bit. And
He's
it's like,
he's in the next season of Fallout.
oh wow. Like I
I
saw, yes, I
know.
saw that in the trailer. I did. That's where I've seen him very recently. And I kind of love that because he does seem like he has a pretty good attitude about it all. And I'm sure
Hmm.
it probably took him a while to get there,
Like
but
his whole
like,
life.
yeah, very much so. But at least like, better than like what was it? Was it Corey Feldman in Gremlins? I
Yes.
can't remember who
Yes,
has
it
went
was. Yes.
a very interesting direction. I will not
Dance,
comment
dan
exactly on
yes.
Corey's.
Dancing with the Stars right now with bleached hair.
Oh,
So,
really? Oh, yikes! And
yeah.
he's got like, no, yeah, you know about Corey's Angels, all this like
The
these women he
Angels.
keeps in his house. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch that too much. It's just
Nope, nope. Yep.
worth exploring if you're curious about him at all.
Yes.
Um,
So, speaking of Christmas movies,
sure.
so Andy's like, let's watch this one. And I was like, I looked at the cast list and I was like, how have I never heard of this movie?
Yeah, because like there's people that you know are in it. I mean, like some of them.
No, total. Not only that, Andy, how has no one in America ever heard of this movie?
Yeah, it's true, and it's set a big part of it in New York as well, which is kind of nuts.
Okay, so yeah, so I think so okay, number one, you owe me a nostalgia movie, and you can't
Uh-huh.
say no. You can't say no, and I'm already like brewing like three different ones, and we'll see where
Hmm.
we land. And number two, like it's just so interesting how time and memory is like, um, I mean, it's just interesting what is sometimes interesting to you as a child, and the nostalgia is so different when you're adult and
Yeah.
you've had a speeding ticket and you've had to go to the
And
speeding ticket class.
you're a
You're
changed
yeah,
man.
you're a
Yeah.
changed man. You
Eh,
got the ball attached to your leg, and you're you're on the chain gang. So, anyways, so you picked this. Why?
I picked this because it was a meaningful movie to me as a kid. And also, like I say, very much in terms of what when we were first thinking about this podcast. And I think a lot of the movies have fallen under this category that we've covered so far. But I was very much thinking about things that like I maybe hadn't seen since I was a
Yes.
child. And I
Yes.
was curious about how they would hold up. And like
Hmm.
because this was one that was so meaningful to me as a kid. And like part of me thought, oh, it might be terrible. I was like, it might be there might be some fun in there, but it would I'm really curious to kind of find out. And so I proposed this to Beth and said she hadn't heard of it, and then and here we are.
And here we
And
are.
if you listen back to my descriptive words for this episode, you might have some idea of how I feel
Yes.
about the
Yes.
experience.
Yes. But I have this like vision of you like laying on the floor in your living room
Oh
with your
yeah,
little like hands in your little fists, just like so excited that like Christmas is here and we get to, talk about
I
Santa.
I think there's some good stuff in it, and I think it actually starts really promisingly, and then it just becomes so fucking dull. Like it's just so dull for big stretches of time.
Yeah, like the antagonist doesn't appear for like, well, we can get into it,
Yeah,
but for a while. So you're just kind of like in the North Pole. Okay, um, so it's the story of a master toy maker. It's like it's the Santa origin story, right? So the
yes.
story of a master toy maker who's already like making toys for people. They call him Uncle Claus,
Yeah.
very clever, who discovers the magical kingdom of elves and North Pole and actually becomes Santa Claus. But when he's eager to please Elf Patch, that's the name of the elf, not Patch of Elves, sorry, leaves for the big streets of New York City, he becomes mixed up with a dastardly, excellent word, toy tycoon's plan to take over Christmas. And so begins his adventure to rescue Patch and save Christmas for all the children in the world.
Wow, sounds enchanting and wonderful, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that
can
was
I?
actually written by Lionsgate Productions.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
find
yeah.
one that did. Yeah, you can
Nobody
tell
wants.
it's what's authentic and what's not when I read these.
Yeah. So, like, can I tell you my first thought that I wrote
Yeah.
down
Yep.
upon
Yep.
watching the first scene where he's delivering, he is just Uncle Claus and he's delivering gifts, which is Santa Claus a hottie? I'm into it.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of like he's got a hot outfit. He's like a
Yeah.
big burly beardy guy. He's looking good as hell, like
Well, and is he like he's not been Santa Claus yet, so he's got a brown
Yes, he
beard and
does.
some brown
Hmm.
hair, but he
Hmm.
definitely has some rosy cheeks, which
He
like,
does.
yep, yep,
He
yep.
does. But he's a handsome looking fella. So yeah, I have such kind of, so I'll tell you, like, in terms of the pieces of memory. Now you kind of went through just the kind of like plot. I remember the candy canes that made people fly, or
Yeah.
the lollipops that made people fly. I
Yeah.
remember the car that Patch built. So Patch, the kind of elf who goes slightly rogue,
But in
builds.
a good, like, not on purpose. Like he's
Not
trying to
really, like
impress
he's,
Santa
yeah.
and like get back in Santa's good graces or
Yeah.
whatever.
And he kind of gets manipulated a wee bit, I mean a big bit, by an evil guy, who gets such a comeuppance at the end. It's wild when I think about it, but we'll get to that. Um, so so yeah, I remember that I remember the car, and I just kind of had memories of the reindeer as well, because I think that they are actually quite good animatronics.
They
Like,
are good animatronics.
right? I think that's because and they were so like animated and filled with life. I think that was another thing that I really loved. But like beyond that, I didn't really remember too much of it at all. Um, but yeah. So
Clearly.
right, you can tell. So this was one of the trickiest things when I was looking into the director, which was how do I pronounce this guy's name? I think I'm gonna do it right. I may
Okay.
butcher it, but I'll do my
Okay.
best. I think it's Jeannot Savark. I think. So
Sounds good to me.
I don't want to hear it if I got it wrong. I'm trying my best. But he is essentially a French film director who had a long career. He had like 6 decade career doing like TV stuff and actually directing movies. But I think he most notably, other than this, he did Supergirl and Jaws 2, which are the only ones that I kind of really knew.
Mhm.
But both like Supergirl and this were kind of box office bombs. So as a result, his kind of career in Hollywood didn't last too much longer than this. But as I say, he still had like a healthy long career, and he did a lot of movies in France as well. And like, you know, it's well shot at times.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it actually kind of makes sense with because Supergirl 2 is kind of a lot of, or Supergirl 2. Supergirl is kind of a lot of meandering bullshit as well. And I kind of wonder how responsible he is in terms of him being at the helm of both of these things.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like as I say, he so often when we've seen these directors, I at least have a passing familiarity with him, but I'd never heard his name before.
I never look like I just leave this up to you because I like
Yep.
to be surprised. Yeah, I think you've succeeded if you make like a movie.
100%. It's such an
So,
impossible thing to do, and I think
yeah.
that like anybody who manages to successfully get something out the door is a wizard and should
Yeah.
probably be burned because it's so tough to do those things.
Yeah.
Can I? Here's a little thing I found out when I was looking into it. Do you know who else was offered this film?
I looked, but I didn't put it on my facts. Go ahead.
Okay, John Carpenter.
Yes, I did. No, I do have that.
You do have that
Yes.
one? Yeah,
Yes.
which is a wild.
Yes.
And I think it would have been a much better film if he'd done it, but that's just wild to me imagining John Carpenter doing this. Apparently he wanted to make too many changes and they said no in the end, but just a kind of a wild what could have been, you know. The other one
I,
was
yeah. So real quick, so yeah, he
Mhm.
was offered the chance, but he wanted to say in the writing the musical score because he's John Carpenter
Of course.
and final cut of the film, which I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing it's like I don't like it, make these changes, and then everybody has to like go back into the sound studio or whatever.
Can you imagine like
Um,
this movie with like loads of synthy
yeah,
Christmas tunes?
I know, right, right.
So funny.
And he wanted Santa Claus to be Brian Dennehy,
Okay. Hey.
which I could see, but the guy that played, and we're kind of jumping all over the place,
Yeah.
which I don't care because we can do what we want.
Yeah.
Um, okay, where are my people list? Okay, so David Huddleston, who
Yeah.
plays Santa in this movie, is the Big Lebowski.
Yes. Yes. I know the
And
actor.
I looked it up and I was like, holy fucking shit. He's the guy that like rolls around in the wheelchair and he's like keeps, bothering the dude and
Yeah.
you know, what's his wife's name? Bunny with a
Yes.
green toenail polish.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't know. I really liked him in this role because he was the Big Lebowski.
I think like he is one of these guys you've seen because he's also in like Blazing Saddles and stuff like that as well. Like he's
Yes,
one of these
yes.
actors that you just see and you're like, oh, he's a great presence to see. And
Yeah.
like I think he's a really good Santa, honestly. Like I think that, he isn't the problem with this movie. Like I think he does pretty good work with what he's been given there, you know.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but yeah, it's just I the part of me thinks that he probably took on this role with the idea that it would have kind of launched his career a wee bit, and
It's kind of like, yeah, even, and I don't know if I'm guessing you don't watch these at all, but there's this series called The Christmas Chronicles,
uh-huh.
starring like Kurt Russell and now
Oh,
Goldie Hawn as Mrs. Claus. And it's like, I think they've made two or three. And it's just like, you can't really say no because it's
yeah,
like Kurt Russell is Santa Claus
yeah.
and he plays a saxophone. So,
Whoa. So
you know,
that's the true hottest Santa Claus right there.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Okay, so this was written by a husband and wife team.
Uh-huh.
David Newman and Leslie Newman. They, it's so funny. I wrote what they did, and under David, and then under Leslie, I wrote that they were married, they had two kids. That's
Hmm.
terrible. She was likely the brains, but they did
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde,
Okay.
What's Up Doc with My Baby, Barbara Streisand, and then
Sure.
Bonnie and Clyde was Faye Dunaway
Yeah.
and Warren Beatty. So
Okay.
I mean, those are, and then they wrote this too
Yeah.
on accident. Anyways, I think it must have been after they had kids.
I was going to say, and this is certainly a film that
Right. It
that
is that people watch
that people watch. Yeah.
with their eyeballs.
Yep.
So yeah. Interestingly enough, like they came up with this concept, but it sounds like David Newman took sole credit for the screenplay.
Okay. Chill.
Um, so I'm not sure. Sounds like they stayed married, but I was surprised by
That's
that.
it. Yeah, it's one of these things where you're like, oh well, I mean, who knows the reasons for
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but like one of these things where you're like,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But that, like even back in the 80s, this stuff was happening frequently, it seems, and that's kind of a bummer,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, I think about some others, Christmas films that maybe are also kind of like held together with a very little kind of structure, and I think there's a version of this that could have been interesting and good, but I don't think the final product was that particularly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like I don't we can talk about like what could have been cut. So there's this Keanu Reeves Christmas movie that I can't remember the name of. Babes in Toyland, 1986.
yeah.
I might have to I won't do that to you.
Okay,
Maybe next
okay.
year I
I
will.
mean, like,
But
sure, why
anyways,
not? Like, this is
I
we,
know.
we need to do this every now and again. We can't always
I
be watching
know.
the films we really want to watch.
I
Um,
know. And everyone's like,
um,
"Yep, yep, they're right. The film is good." Because the
uh,
Academy said so.
um, so the music, which I thought was, oh, I went all high pitch there. The music, which I thought was actually quite good, was by Henry Mancini. I mean, like good for a Christmas movie, certainly anyway. Who was a name that I recognized. I wasn't sure what from exactly. But he was like a storied composer, like who's won a ton of awards. Like he is also like not only has he been a composer in TV and film, but he also released 90 albums and won awards across the board, essentially. So I recognized him, but I wasn't sure what from. But he also did Breakfast at Tiffany's. He did
Ooh.
Charade, which is another sort of very big film, and also most notably, he did. I think the one that really rang out in my head as soon as I read it was he did the music for the Pink Panther.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Uh, the Steve Martin Pink Panther or the
No, the original with
original? Guys,
oh
who's Peter
no,
Sellers?
Peter Sellers. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So like, and that's I think that's an incredible piece of music. Like that's such an iconic piece of music. And if that was the only thing he done, that he could rest easy. But that was only part of it, as I say, a very long and interesting career.
90 albums?
90 albums. Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't think
like
I've done 90 anything.
it was one of these things where it's like early on in his career, and this was like whenever Hollywood is more of a production line type thing. He did like in the first like I can't remember the time frame exactly. It was somewhere between 5 to 10 years. He did 100. He composed for 100 movies. It was like a really short period of time. He was just like factory line composing. So yeah, but yeah.
Wow.
He also did the Peter Gunn theme tune, which is another kind of really famous piece of music.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Played that in band. Yeah.
So yeah,
Love
so
that
that
one.
was like sweet. So like I was like that makes sense why this is actually quite well done. I think like the kind of jolly sort of like elf-based stuff kind of works better because of the kind of like his music. It really does.
Yes. So they build this like world that's like, hello, Santa, or welcome, Uncle Claus,
Yeah.
check us out. And they're like, you make toys. And I don't know what the criteria was for Santa Claus, but it was like, you make toys. Your wife's cool. So
Yeah.
here. And you're already doing the job, so just like do it more
And
and we'll
and
make the toys.
and just they find them basically freezing to death, rescue them, and take them into this like
Yes.
the Santa's workshop, I guess, what becomes Santa's workshop, and have
Yes.
just been slaving away for years building toys in preparation for this very moment, I guess.
Apparently. And
Yeah.
I will also say I watched this with my children and like as Mr. and Mrs. Claus are freezing to death, so are the reindeer, and the kids were like, "Are the reindeer gonna die?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't know, no, no. Like it's Donner and Blixen or whatever. Of course
Yeah.
not." Um, and I can only think of the Donner Party when I hear the word Donner. So I'm sure it's a way older name, but
Yeah.
yeah, they ate
Yes.
each other. So
Yes. I remember. I remember.
yep, yep, yep. So like Dudley Moore is also in this movie of
Yes.
like famously of the movie 10 with the most beautiful woman in the world whose name I can't remember off the top of my head.
Uh-huh. Keep going. I'll keep vamping.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
find us.
Check it in your mind palace, my friend.
Yeah.
So he's the character that plays Patch. He's really creative. He's making all these toys, and apparently like Santa goes out and he gives all the toys to the children, and most of the toys come back returned. And they were like,
Yes.
we've never had returns before. What is this lady's name?
Bo Derek.
Oh, Derek. That's right. She's still gorgeous.
Yes.
I'm probably a very nice person. So then, yeah, they get all these broken toys returned, and you see these toys being like falling apart, and like one of them is a little wagon, and like the kid's like, oh no, my wagon, the wheel broke off, and then like a bus runs over it in front of him. I'm just like, damn, like this is like dark.
Well, one of the things I struggle so much with is in this film, and it happened then, is the hard cuts from this glorious Technicolor Santa's workshop to the real world, and it's like fuck? It's like there was a scene, one in particular, and it was like this sort of like happy, joyous music, and then a hard cut to this cold day outside of McDonald's, and I'm like, oh my God, the real world sucks.
There was a lot of product placement in
There
this movie.
was.
It was
Oh
like
yeah.
drinking Coca-Cola and like eating at McDonald's, and it has the sign, like the old, like, I don't get. Yeah. Anyways, okay, actually, here we go. And PBR, like at one point, like the
Oh
bad
yes.
guy, John Lithgow and his friend are like, they've got these like they're rich, right? And they're like at the penthouse office and they have these beautiful brandy glasses. And he's pouring Pabst Blue Ribbon into each
I
of their cups.
gotta
And
do
I was
that.
like, what the fuck is happening?
And they're
Okay,
like
so yeah, go
smelling it like
ahead.
it has this glorious
Like it has,
bouquet. It's like,
have you
oh,
ever had PBR?
have you ever drank something as fancy as this?
Oh
I'm
my God.
I am going to do that though. In fairness, so
Yes.
it's happening.
No, we used to do Eddie 40 hands. You could get a 40 ounce Pabst Blue Ribbon for like I remember it was like $1.49,
Yeah,
and you would tape it to your hands and then like you had to drink the two of them before
I've
yeah, you
seen
could take
that in
yeah.
something, and it's such a terrible idea. But yeah,
Stupid. It's
it's yeah.
stupid. It's like wizard staffing. Have you done that?
No.
Okay, so that maybe it's an American thing. So you know how I got on this topic. You at every can of beer you drink, you tape it together until you have like the biggest wiz whoever has the biggest
Ah,
wizard
okay.
staff at the end of the evening wins.
Incredible.
Uh, okay, so yeah, so the movie had promotional ties to McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Pabst Blue Ribbon. They also gave away 4 books with each Happy Meal, so these exist somewhere, Andy, which chronicled
Wow.
the story of the film. A plush reindeer booklet ornament was also offered free with the purchase of a $5 gift certificate booklet. Um, and the movie itself has, yeah, scenes of people like chowing down on McDonald's.
Yes, loving it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually that's their phrase. Do you know that?
Oh
We're
yes,
loving
I
it,
do know it. Yeah. Wow, that
Andy.
was wow.
That went
Holy
deep into your
shit.
psyche, and you are now spewing the
That's
McDonald's propaganda unknowingly.
terrifying. Like I'm proud to like spout some of the propaganda. Like obviously, as we mentioned him earlier, Stone Cold's Hell Yeah, like
Yeah,
is saturated into me. But I
yeah.
it sucks to realize that I'm a corporate shill for
Go,
McDonald's too.
go, wash out your mouth with some
I
Pabst Blue
will. I
Ribbon.
will. I'll do it.
Okay,
Um.
so back to Dudley Moore.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if they cast the right elf
It
in
sounds
this.
like the project was based around him, essentially. Like he was the cornerstone of it all. Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
I
Okay, if you can't see my face right now, I'm looking like a little stunned and depressed.
yeah. I think he was just on a bit of a tear at that time, and like they were just like, shit, put Dudley Moore in it, and we'll make, you know, millions.
So it's interesting. I would say like I of my favorite character. I mean, I love Dudley Moore. I do. He's just
Yeah.
great. So I'll take him as Patch playing an elf. It's fine. And I really did enjoy David Huddleston, who was
Yes.
also not only in The Big Lebowski, but if you ever get a chance to see the original producers,
Hmm.
I highly recommend it. It's so
Yes, I've
fucking
heard.
funny.
Yes, it's
It's Mel
absolutely
Brooks.
wonderful.
Like you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
go wrong. So,
One of like, yeah, that whenever he was an absolute, like early in his career, he was just like pumping out the hits. Yeah, it was
mhm,
nuts.
mhm, mhm.
Um, yeah, I think that like also because it's also like an early so the bad guy is played by John Lithgow and it's kind of an early appearance from him. He had a career, but like it was like before a lot of his sort of more major roles.
He was young
Yes.
and it was weird.
I wonder what age was he? I really
I
look it
don't
up.
know, but it was weird. Like he had I don't know, it's like his teeth felt bigger. It's like his face hadn't quite grown into his teeth and eventually like they did and he looks like a normal human being now, but it was just like he was all teeth. He had so many
He,
teeth.
he would have still been in his he would have just turned about he would have probably been about 39 or 40 when he filmed this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Um
yeah, I mean he looks younger than, anything I'd seen.
It seems like it seems like his role was offered around to quite a few others, like for example, Kurt Russell, I think, and I think they asked Harrison Ford and stuff like that. I said, which is wild to me in terms of what they were thinking this movie was going to be. Um, until they ended up with him. And also, like there is so kind of like whenever in the early scenes, let's say whenever Santa is kind of figuring things out, he's going to do his first run as Santa Claus, and then there's like a big kind of time jump. Essentially, it all kind of starts in what like the 1700s or something, or maybe even earlier, and essentially he's approached by this ancient elf, and this ancient elf talks about the prophecy and whatever and blah blah blah. And that was they'd approached James Cagney to play that role, and
Yes.
Cagney was interested.
Yes. And it's like this weird, I don't, it's, it's like maybe like a 3 or 4 minute scene, but this ancient elf comes like walking down and
And
he's so old
everybody's shocked and awed, like, oh,
that
it's
they
the
have to
ancient elf.
hold, that they have to separate his beard into two halves
Yeah.
and that they have to be carried
Hmm.
because they don't understand that scissors exist or
Yeah. Or
something.
like, have you heard of manscaping? Clearly
Right.
not.
Right. I think that means something else than you're thinking.
I know that company doesn't just do downstairs manscaping, it does upstairs
Okay.
manscaping as
Okay,
well.
just
So
checking.
it covers the gamut, all right, the full wonderland of men male grooming.
Sorry, I'm
Right.
dying. Okay.
Um,
I think we only need to watch shitty movies here from
okay,
here on
yeah.
out. Okay, so
Mm,
so okay, here's a nice there are reasons that people do things and sometimes they're altruistic, which I love. So all the toys that were made and bought for Santa's workshop scenes were donated to children's charities for Christmas after
that
they were done
rocks.
with the movie, which I love. Um, I think they were done shooting in like February, so the children had to wait for 10 months. I'm kidding. That didn't happen. Okay, so the reindeer, there was no Rudolph, that's okay. But the
Yeah.
reindeer, for the most part, they were animatronic, but then for the like parts where they were like running,
Yes.
those were real reindeer.
Yeah.
But they had to like train them and then they had to wait for them to grow their antlers for final filming. So a lot of the shots they didn't use real reindeer because their antlers hadn't grown in yet.
That makes sense. That's an interesting reason. I mean, like I understand why they wouldn't anyway because of some of the stuff they needed to do. Like literally, the reindeers like fold their ears over their eyes, or like
Yes, yes. Like
it's pretty
Gizmo
great.
in the Gremlins.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And like, show feeling when they're nervous and yeah, like happy or I don't want to eat this lovely, it looks like a bowl of pot that you're trying to get me to
Yep.
eat. Yep.
Yep.
Anyways, um, okay, so I have some. Do you have any? I can jump into facts if you want me to because I have
I
some.
think like I maybe wanted to go through a little bit because I have a few more like
Yes.
kind of thoughts essentially. So essentially, like they jump forward in time.
Mhm.
Santa realizes he's overworked, so he needs an assistant, and it's between two people. It's between a guy who does things the traditional way and a Patch who is modern, is filled with ideas and inventions, and he wants to set it up into a factory line. It's real actually a damning critique of capitalism in a lot of
It's
ways.
true. It's true.
He then does this. It kind of he builds a load of toys, but they're of poor quality. They fall apart, and he ends up losing the gig as Santa's assistant. He then decides he wants to go off. He wants to prove himself to Santa. He gets in bed with this toy maker who is up for corruption. So I want to talk a little bit about this. But the first time we see him, he is in a courtroom. It's another like jarring cut. It's you're in Santa's workshop, everything's happy and bright, and then it's hard cut to a courtroom, and it's like, whoa. And then like again, in a children's movie here, and this guy is, and it's some sort of like it's the committee's got a wild name. I had to write it down, but essentially it is like the ethics committee over children's toys or whatever, and they're testing this guy's toys. And I think it's like BZ toys, and the first,
His name is BZ.
yeah,
B period Z
B period
period.
C, yeah, and it's called
Don't
BZ
know
toys.
why.
And
Don't know what it stands for.
And even in the advertisements for his toy company, it's a picture of him smoking a cigar going, my toys are great. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, the kids are going to love this shit. This is old guy being like, my toys are amazing. Yeah. They're going to lap that up. Anyway, so in the courtroom, they first put a cigarette on one of his dolls. The doll completely lights up on fire. It's kind of wild. But the really crazy thing is they then take out this kind of stuffed toy like a bear or whatever, and they take the head off it and they tip out
Yes.
glass and
Yes.
nails and
Yes.
sand.
Yes.
And
They're like,
I'm
this
like,
is what you're putting inside your stuffies.
okay, I get cutting corners, but this feels like active sabotage if that's what
This
you're
is
doing with your toys.
yes. Yes. It's like that urban legend, with Halloween that like someone's putting razor blades into
Yeah,
apples or like candy and like that never happened. It never happened.
yeah.
But it did in this imaginary Santa land.
So he's
John Lithgow's yeah.
a real bad dude, as you can imagine.
But like
Um,
he's got a hobby and it involves broken glass and nails and he's just like, how the fuck do I get rid of all this?
yeah,
It's got to go somewhere.
this is it.
I know. I'll put it in the teddy bears.
Just in case you have any doubt, this is the first scene that you're introduced to this guy. He is a complete monster. Um, again, just it builds to the end. One of the things that Patch makes for him is the this candy that allows people to fly. Though it's found whenever too much of it is packed together and it's by a heat source, it explodes, which leads to the big finale of the film where Patch is like, "I'm taking all this candy to Santa so he can get next year off," and they know though he doesn't know it's going to explode, but Santa does, and Santa has to kind of rescue him with the sleigh, which he does successfully.
Yes.
And
And
our uh-huh.
what was the move called? Do you remember?
I can't remember. They practice it early on. Basically, they have to do like
Yeah.
a loop the loop type thing, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And like the back of Patch's like car does light on fire
yeah.
because they're driving it so fast because these candy canes are so flammable.
Yes.
So good. I totally forgot about the teddy bear. That was like the most important scene in the whole
Oh,
movie.
so it was crazy. And then the other kind of thing to note, because to say, basically the net starts closing in on BZ. They figured out that he is the root cause of why things are going wrong and that this candy's dangerous. So they come to arrest him, and he chuckles as he eats all this candy. And the final scene of the film is him floating into space
Yes, yes. Not only does he fly, he just continues floating up, up, up into the outer
to his
atmosphere.
definite death. You
Yeah,
know, so
totally. Like he's gonna freeze,
oh,
right?
100%. Yeah, very quickly. So yeah. Um, what a wild ride. The other thing I wanted to say about him, my
Yes.
last thing to say about him is that he's wearing spats. And it's the 80s and he's wearing
Yes.
spats.
And you
What
see
the
the bottom of his shoe, and like I
Yeah.
didn't know that spats are like an even weirder version of like I was a child of the 80s, so girls had pants
Mhm.
that had like spats on them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you would like wear your pant, but it would also like be connected to the underside of your foot,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is really helpful when you like bend over and like your pants don't really move the way they're supposed to, and
Yeah.
you show everyone your ass crack. But that was the time frame for spats was not when this movie was taking place at
Nope.
all.
No, and I was like, what a another very odd choice in a movie filled with odd choices.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what sort of thoughts I had. I needed to kind of get out of my system. So if you have any facts or any other wee stuff that you want to talk about,
Yes. So the theme song for the film, it's Christmas All Over the World,
uh-huh.
was written actually with Freddie Mercury in mind. It's kind of like
Whoa.
if all these other if some decisions had changed with this movie, it would have been a completely different film.
Yeah.
So he actually Mercury recorded a demo, but he turned it down as he had already committed to the Highlander soundtrack. This is
Oh,
coming up.
yeah. That's
We might
that
have to go there at some point.
yeah, Highlanders and that has it has an incredible. I think the Queen soundtrack to that movie elevates it
Yeah.
by a considerable degree. Yeah.
Yes. And I do think that if we had to give up Freddie Mercury for this movie for him to do Highlander, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess John Lithgow and Dudley Moore became friends on set.
Hmm.
They viewed the movie together at one of the like, you know, film Pinewood. It's like a screening room where you go and sit and you see the movie before anybody else. Afterwards, Moore called the film a career ender.
Okay, that makes
Uh-huh.
sense.
Yeah, so then we get some Lithgow insights in like 2019. He gave an interview and he said, "It's just one of the tackiest movies I've ever seen." And here's the interesting piece. This
Mhm.
stuck with me and I have so many questions. Um, it seemed cheesy and it certainly never stuck, except in England.
Yeah.
It is huge over there. I wish I had a nickel for every time an Englishman who's told me it's their favorite film. In England, that's half of what I'm known for. So I think it's a product of the fact that you live in the UK.
Yes, I think so, which is why I know about it, why it was something that I obviously had as a kid and loved as a kid, you know.
Yes. So it's not just you and it's not your fault, but
I
like
thank you.
yeah, you're
I,
welcome. But
I
it's
needed
so
to hear that. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, right. It's just so interesting that like no n I've heard of most things and like I love Christmas. I loved Christmas. I don't love it anymore, but that's,
Sure.
adulting. Anyways, it's just so fascinating to me that a movie that takes place predominantly in the States did not play here, but was so there's something about it that spoke to your people.
Yes. It's true. That's a good. It's maybe it's just Dudley Moore, you know, like because I
Maybe.
mean he is beloved here, you know, and or he was certainly anyway.
Hmm.
I don't know, and like I think that you know, and like I don't really fully understand what it was that I saw in it as a kid. Really, like I mean, there's some fun stuff in there, and I think I liked all the kind of like
Like Santa's Workshop, the whole
Santa's
like North
Workshop was
Pole,
cool.
it was super
I
epic.
like the car, the patch builds. I think that I like that sort of
Yes.
stuff. That sort of like crazy spin on things, you know. So like there is some, and I think I really kind of loved creature stuff as a kid. So like you know the reindeers with all their kind of like antics and things like that. I think I quite like
Yes.
that too, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Um. So yeah, but it was yeah an interesting revisit. Probably one of the longest distances for me so far of a film that I saw as a kid and
Yeah.
I'm only seeing now, you know.
Yeah. So so I showed it. I was like, all right, hopefully isn't a Christmas movie that's that tells things it's not supposed to tell the children, and it
Yeah.
wasn't. Um, but it was just interesting because both kids were watching. So I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old,
Mhm.
and they were like talking through the whole thing. Like, why are they doing that? They're doing that because like they made sense of the story
Okay.
themselves. So it was like the sweetest thing to hear them like talking about it. And I was like, "Did you guys like the movie?" And they were like, "Emphatic yes,
Well,
emphatic yes." So
there you go.
I'm jaded, and
Hmm.
maybe I have been since birth. I don't know, but I see through their eyes like why it's enjoyable
Well,
and
why it was
yeah, why it was
it truly
successful.
struck a chord with some
Absolutely.
people. Yeah, yeah.
With you
Yes, with
because I
me.
was like what the fuck.
I'm so glad they watched it. That's a real relief.
Yes, yes.
Good,
Okay,
good.
okay. I have two more facts real
Okay.
quick. So the flying car patches, which you
Yep.
loved, there's a reason probably. So it has the sound effects from the Atari 2600 version of Pac-Man, notably using the chop sound effect on start and malfunctioning, and then the death sound effect from the Atari from the same, yeah, from the Pac-Man Atari
That
2600.
makes a ton of sense. And that
Yeah,
also probably speaks to why I loved it as well.
yeah, exactly. And then, so did you guys have Siskel and Ebert over there?
No, but I'm aware
O-
of who they are.
Okay, so they're like, they were, I don't know if both of them, they might both have passed away, but they were like
Only one of them,
the
I think one of them's still alive.
okay, it's probably, well, it doesn't matter. It's probably, I
Mhm.
feel like I can never remember which one's which. So Gene Siskel gave it a thumb. So they were film critics, and it was like thumbs up or thumbs down, and then they would tell you why. And like we would watch this show about them talking to us about movies.
Mhm.
It was like even better than watching coming attractions for me. I loved their show so much.
Yeah.
So in his thumbs down review of the film, Gene Siskel said he felt that the movie needed a more threatening villain and plot.
Yep.
He suggested Beezy kidnapping Santa Claus and taking his place would be a better idea.
Yeah.
Years later, that idea came to fruition in the beloved movie The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Good point. Yep.
So,
Interesting.
so,
Hmm.
hmm
That's a very good point. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
we would not have that.
If
Like,
not,
right?
if not for
Can't
Santa Claus
walk
the
to,
movie.
yeah, can't fly till you, or walk, can't fly until you walk,
Yeah.
whatever.
Standing on the shoulders of giants. The giants
Thank you.
being
Exactly.
Santa Claus the movie.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. All right. Nice. So, any other we stop. Hold on. I'll learn to speak. Any other facts or any other bits and pieces you want to get into before we move on to our last few sections?
I will say like obviously I had some thoughts on this, but I would say overall just like watching the kids'
Hmm.
reaction and also like I just love a good origin story and I know there's so many different Santa origin stories, but this one was just like sweet and easy and it wasn't like,
Yeah, it
you
wasn't
know,
super long either. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I didn't love it, but by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't it wasn't super hard to watch, which I
yeah.
appreciated.
Yep, yep.
Um, so too legit to fit, gotta be Santa Claus, especially in his early kind of outfits, looking like a snack.
Yeah.
And that's probably like it was there wasn't really much anybody else in. There was this child. We didn't get into the children, but I just didn't want to.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
there's this child appeared at a window at one point. Is like, is that a boy? Is that a boy with like a fucking Little Lord Fauntleroy haircut? And it's like, no, it's
Yes.
a girl.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
No.
okay, that's
Yeah.
slightly better.
Yeah. She
But
looked
yeah,
like Lord Farquaad.
yeah, very far quad, very far quad. Obviously, the Andy's Animal Acting Award for excellence in animal acting goes to the reindeer,
Yeah.
both the real life ones and the animatronic ones.
Yeah. I would back up to Santa's Fit and say Mr. and Mrs. Claus's polka dotted, relaxing at the North Pole, making toys outfits were quite something.
Yes, and also they're like sleeping gowns and sleeping hats as well. It was
Yeah.
just great. It was just great
Yeah.
across the board.
Yep.
Loved it. So
Definitely a choice that they made where they were
very
like,
much so.
this is the outfit. It must be polka dot.
Yeah, strong choice. Um, okay, so Beth. In
Mhm.
terms of Santa Claus the movie, would you revisit, remember, refuse, or redo?
I'm an asshole and I'm gonna say I'm gonna
Yeah,
refuse.
I said refuse as
I'm
well.
sorry.
It's like, but I think you have summed it up perfectly. Do not be sorry about that at all. Because like I do not think it's a movie for adults, and I know so many friends who have kids who like whenever their kid comes obsessed with a movie, they're like, I want to try to curate this a bit, so it's not something that I cannot stand. It's something that has like a little bit of something for me. And this very much feels like one of those movies that just does not hold up as an adult. It's just not like it has some fun stuff in there, but it's by and large it is quite dull and kind of meandering and doesn't really go anywhere. And like that like Cecily Liebert said, there's no kind of real strong antagonist to drive the story or anything like
Mhm.
that. It just feels
Mhm.
all quite woolly. But if kids are enjoying it, kids are enjoying it. That's great. I just don't think it's one that really is worth kind of dipping back into and watching again.
Yeah. I would say if you have kids and you're like, I need them to focus on something so
Yeah,
I can go do something else, like this is the movie for you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
And as a parent, I need that sometimes. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Love it. All right, we'll get on to the final section of our show. Beth, what's been bringing you joy this week?
I'm not trying to like give you guys whiplash, but honestly, it was watching this movie with my kids.
Keep 'em guessing, Beth.
I'm
Keep 'em
guessing, I know, right?
guessing.
I know, but it was just so like I had like Mike was like, "Fuck this shit,
Yeah,
I got stuff to do."
smart. Yeah,
But I know, but like they glued themselves one on either side of me.
that
Like I
rocks.
had an arm on each of them, right? And like these days, I know it's gonna be fleeting, and I'm still in. We all shared a blanket and snuggled, and like it was just like a nice moment as you know the days are darker and all of that,
Yeah,
just to like really like watch them enjoying something and like
I love that.
yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great one.
I was
Um,
joyfully annoyed.
yes, yeah, 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 yeah. But you're right. But like, yeah, if they're engaged, that probably makes the whole experience sweeter because it's not really about the movie.
Absolutely.
It's about spending time
Yeah,
with them. Yeah.
absolutely. What about you?
Just what I was talking about at the top of the show, board gaming again, just like a big evening of it. it's reminded me how much I miss it and how valuable I find it. Like it just as I love having an activity, especially socially. And it's really kind of redoubled my thoughts. There is like a local board gaming club that I've been meaning to like go down to. Like I reached out to them a year ago, but just have not had time. But I'm going to kind of redouble my efforts of going down to there.
Yes.
We meet every fortnight, and I'm maybe going to try and start doing that. I think it would be nice just to re-engage with that again because it really kind of like I find it really good for me to be really good for me.
Yeah. Agreed. Do it.
So yeah. So there you go. Um, so as always, folks, hold on. A few
Yes.
different things. So
Yes.
first things first, Beth, can you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us at bendypodcast.com, any channels, and also YouTube if you want to watch us uh, talking to each other in real time.
Yeah,
Not real
exactly.
time, but past time, but
Yeah,
see our
recorded
faces.
pastime. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
the other few things I wanted to say were firstly, we are probably in the future, in fact, definitely in the future, probably going to like theme our months, and we're going to like theme our
Yeah.
months around. It can be around directors or actors or whatever. So if you have any ideas or suggestions of things like that, we are predominantly looking at things probably before the millennium, I would say, for the most
Yeah.
part. We can't,
Yeah.
there are going to be exceptions to that, and that's fine, but we're looking for things mostly from when we were younger. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on that, please let us know.
Also,
Um,
Andy has a time limit and won't watch anything over probably 110 minutes.
yeah, I'd say like that's pushing it. Like the
I
game, I was
know.
like, the game's 2 hours 13. Oh
I know,
no,
I know,
no.
I
I
know.
don't mind. I will make exceptions, but I will be very grateful if the movies you recommend are like a tight 90 minutes. I will be a very happy boy. Um, okay. And also, we wanted to start letting you know in advance what the movie's going to be next week in case you want to watch it, in case you want to watch the movie and kind of follow along as we're kind of talking about it. So, next week's movie will be Jingle All the Way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Which
classic.
I don't think I've ever seen that one either.
I've only ever seen bits and pieces of it, and it's one I've always been curious about, but not enough that I actually wanted to watch it. And now we have the perfect excuse.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, folks. In that case, we have reached the end of our episode. And as always, we'd like to remind you to
Stay
stay bendy.
bendy.
And now I'm going to munch my
Yeah,
anti-gravity lollipop and float away.
there you go.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye bye.